Welcome. And in this example, we're going to cover some additional examples. In this video, I should say, we're going to cover some additional examples from lesson 5.5. Let's go ahead and get started on that. We're going to cover five problems in total. And this is over unit rates, and it says write the statement as a rate. So first we're going to talk about rates, and then we'll talk about unit rates. So Billy buys 6 movies for $134. Now, we got to remember that we write it in the order that we read it. So this is going to be 6 movies for $34. And then let's find the correct answer. 6 movies for $34, which is right here. It's C for me. Check our answer. Oh my goodness, fantastic. Okay, excellent. Let's move on to our next question. All right, here we have a double number line diagram, and we want to find the value of M. So we're working on figuring out kind of what our unit rates are. So we're given additional values on our double number line diagram. We could either use 72 and 4 or 108 and 6. I'm going to do the 72. So we're going to go much like we would with ratios and finding equivalent ratios. We can do the same thing when we're finding equivalent rates. And a unit rate is just a special rate. And rates are just ratios. So that's why it all works. So we want to figure out what M is. Well, to go from 4 to 1, we divide by 4. And as we did before, to make it an equivalent rate, we need to divide both values by 4. So M is going to be equal to 72 divided by 4. Work out your math. Pull out your calculator, or do it in your head, or just do some long division like this. However you want to do it, you're going to find that M is going to be equal to 16. And that's all they're asking for on this one. Oh my gosh! I got it wrong. Okay. So what could I have gotten wrong? Uh-oh. Must have been my math. Shouldn't have been trying to go so quickly. Let's take a look at this. 4 goes into 7 one time. Drop 2 down. How many times does 4 go into 32? 8. Oh my goodness, it's not 16. It's 18. Silly me. Silly me. Making mistakes. That's what happens when you're rushing through things sometimes. If you're not careful, you make mistakes. Oh, fantastic. Got the praise I was looking for. I like it. I like it. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. Now we're going to find a unit rate. So we have 108 people for 12 days, right? So in here, this is where we're going to fill out the 108. And then this space down below, we put 12. Now remember, a unit rate is a rate that has a denominator of 1. That second value is 1. We know this right here needs to be 1. And it's going to be the same units. So 1 day. And the top is going to be the same units. So it's going to be people or person. I think it's going to be people in this one. Well, to go from 12 to 1, we need to divide by 12, right? So let's just write that up here. We divide the top and the bottom by 12, right? And that gives us 1 in the bottom, and up top it has 108 divided by 12. Okay, no rushing this one. Let's slow this down. Okay. Now, if we want to figure out how many times does 12 go into 108. Okay, if it was 10 times 12, right? 10 times 12 is 120. So that's too much. And it's too much by 12. So we know it's going to be 9. 9 times 12 is 108. Okay, so in this case, this simplifies to 9 over 1. Now we come down. Now we're going to complete our spaces down here. So remember, we said we had to divide both the top and the bottom by 12. And when we do 108 divided by 12, we get 9. So our unit rate will be 9 people per 1 day. Check our answer. Fantastic. Woohoo! We're on fire. We're on fire. Made a slight mistake, but that happens, right? No big deal. Learn a lot from that. Move. There we go. Where's my... Oh, there we are. Going to problem 4. Another unit rate problem. Okay. This time it's 98 pounds for 7 years. Again, make the pen mode on. Again, we want the bottom to be 1. So we need to take 7 and divide by 7. And what we do to the bottom, we need to do to the top. Right? So we need to do 98 divide by 7. Well, 7 goes into 9 one time. Or not. And 9 minus 7 is 2. Drop the 8 down. We get 28, and that 7 goes into 28 4 times. So this is going to be 14. All right. Let's go over here. We got, originally, they were told us it was 98 pounds for 7 years. Now we know the denominator needs to be 1, and it's going to be 1 year. And we know the units for the top is going to be pounds. That we're not changing anything. All we're doing is dividing the top and the bottom by the same number. And that's going to be 7, because 7 divided by 7 is 1. And that's the critical part. When it comes to finding a unit rate, our denominator needs to be 1. And we found that 98 divided by 7 is 14. We check. Yes. Okay. We're doing good here. We're doing really good. So on to our last example question. And this time we're going to complete the table. All right. So let's start by figuring out our unit rate, because then from there, it's going to be easy, right? This is going to be our unit rate because there's one bag. And then to figure out the next rate, we just multiply by 9, see? And then the third rate, we multiply by 14. Okay. So go from here to here. Well, 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we need to divide the top and the bottom by 3. And we find that 90 divided by 3 is 30. Right? 3 times 3 is 9, so 30 times 3 is 90. Now we're going to go through and figure out each of these. Now, because we went and found the unit rate, this is going to be nice and easy. We could have gone through, and since 9 is 3 times 3, we can also say, well, we can just do 3 times 90, or we can do 9 times 30. And 9 times 30, well, we know that 9 times 3 is 27, so 9 times 30 would be 270. And then the last one we want to do is 14. Well, there is no pretty number that takes us from 3 to 14. So this is where that unit rate comes in handy. We're just going to take that initial unit rate I'll write it like this and multiply the top and the bottom by 14. So we get 14 in the bottom, and the top is going to be the product of 14 and 30. Okay. Now, put a 0 in there because we're working in the tens here, and 3 times 4 is 12. Carry that 1 over, and 3 times 1 plus 1 is 4. So, well, I could have done that in my head. Oh, well, silly me. 420. All right, we got 420. Let's go ahead and enter that. 30 for the first space, 30 to 1, 30 bags of 30 chips for every bag. And then there are 270 chips for every 9 bags, and 420 chips for 14 bags. Check our answer, and voila, there you have it. We've been working with rates and unit rates, and we just looked at 5 additional examples from lesson 5.5.